Yes, we are back this time, a new location. We are at the Maze, and we thank them for hosting us and having us. And of course, I and M Bank for making this possible. Now, we enjoyed the last conversation and decided to bring him back. This time, those of you that are on X, Twitter, have seen some pictures, had some conversations about the men's Bible study. Now, this is a group of people who have come together and said we are going to support each other. We are going to grow our friendships. We are going to heal together. We're going to do this life together. I always ask them, do you guys really pray? Well, 2 of the members are here. But that's not the topic for today, though I want to use it as the start of this conversation. Many of us have our, I like to use this word, safe places. And it could be a person, it could be a group of people. We create those spaces where we are allowed to vent and not be judged, where we are allowed to learn and to heal, because life can decide to be tough sometimes. Rusho, thank you for joining us again.
It was my pleasure.
Canary, thank you for coming today. Anyway, Canary, are you okay?
It's as if I was dragged out of that and allowed to come.
Are you okay?
I mean, I&M Bank is making this possible, so why wouldn't I be here?
Okay, so how is the Bible study, guys?
I can't believe we're having an entire episode on the men's Bible study, but you recite a few lines from the Bible to show that we actually pray.
No.
So is it the one that prays?
No,
guys.
we have. No, first of all, we are a very structured group.
Okay.
Canary here is our head of laity.
Oh, okay.
He's a very good member of the Bible study. I think it's his month. I think to allocate verses this month, but I will check and confirm. But I will quote from Canary's favorite verse, which is in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 10, which says that even lions go hungry for lack of food, but God's people have everything they want.
Amen.
Yeah. Sheila, you're one of the people that do actually inspire me to, open the Bible oftentimes. Because why are you in a church on a Wednesday?
She said she goes every day or something?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And even reads the Vitumbu.
Yeah. And even gives tithe. But the conversation today is really about having a belonging. It's what I would call it.
Especially for guys. By the way, I admire you guys. I make fun about it. Because first of all, your group is, when I look at the kind of people there, you're a group of very intelligent people. So I applaud all of you for that. But you're very busy. The concept of men don't want to be seen in that softness of religion and that coming together to share and heal. Men will normally not want us to know about it. So
we still don't want you to know about this one.
How did you come up with that concept of we are going to be there for each other?
So first of all, the history, I don't think all of us agree on. It's a bit hazy because it wasn't a deliberate, structured, and I don't know, I've not consulted the guys, so they'll bear with me if I get things wrong. But I don't think it was, and we're not trying to promote it as an outlier of sorts or like, I don't know, a status thing. I think it was a very accidental friendship that grew from us being friends with each other and evolved into something a little bit more. So it's very difficult to say, when did we agree? It wasn't like an AGM and a resolution, but I think that it became so I'll give you a very interesting sort of story. About 200 or 300 years ago, there was a man called Emil Durkheim. And Emil Durkheim did a study on people committing suicide. Yeah? And he found that people who went to church had less chance of committing suicide. He said, but what is the reason?
Yeah.
So he studies why Christians commit less suicide. That was the study. And he discovered that it wasn't the religious aspect of church. It was the fact that the church became a community where people would count on each other for support. They would strengthen each other. we've now had some sort of empirical basis. There is something I think called the Harvard Study of Adult Education. There's a beautiful TED talk. I don't know if you've seen the Canary.
Harvard's longest study that
yes.
lasted 85 years.
So the study wanted to know what is it that makes a happy, healthy, long life. So they got two groups of people. Boys from the poorest parts of Boston and students at Harvard. And asked them, what do you think will ensure that you have a long and healthy life? 50% said money. 50% said fame. I don't want to guess where each of you would have voted. For some, I can tell. So they studied these guys, just observing them. Then went into their children, grandchildren, and so on. And they found, and I think the study is still ongoing, that the biggest teller of whether a person would live a long, healthy life was good human relationships. That was not money, not fame, not inheritance, not the country you live in. Because many people think you need to go to Europe to be surrounded by first-class hospitals. Not anything else except good quality human relationships.
And I think that to bring this closer, because this study started in 1938, to bring this closer is that when you are on your sick bed and you have even all the money, I don't think anything can make you happier or less painful sickness or illness or whatever. But when you're surrounded with the people that you love, or people who actually see you differently, not as not a transactional relationship or whatever, I don't think that if anyone goes to speak and speak is known for bad black people. I don't think that if they're on their sick bed that they would request to say, because that's kind of like a transactional relationship. But if you have a genuine friendship, which I think is vital to well-being, that if you're in a sick bed, you would want to see that person, or you'd want that person to be there with you. So that's really the essence of you want to feel a sense of belonging. People in their 30s or 40s, they want to belong. On one of our last episodes, we had Hassan. Hassan told us he belongs to Rotary, belongs to church, it belongs. But you see, you have to have where you belong at a certain point, because then there are things that, for example, we talk about in the group that you just need someone to talk about. You just need somewhere to talk about that kind of thing that you'd never say it anywhere. Yeah. So I don't know on your side whether you have such a belonging. I know you love church a lot and you belong to church, Rotary now. I don't know why anyone in their 20s would belong to Rotary. But I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that at a certain point, I think that people realize that they have to belong somewhere. So I don't know about on your side.
First of all, I want to say that for women, it's really difficult. I don't know why, but it's really difficult.
In what sense?
In the sense that we are always backstabbing each other. We are always, especially when we get into groups where we're supposed to benefit from each other, learn from each other, that sense of community, it just turns out that, and this is as basic as maybe gym groups and wherever we are as women, unfortunately, if it is not intentional, we end up hurting each other instead of supporting each other.
Like deliberately or like?
Not deliberately, but...
There's always contestation?
There's always competition. There's always gossip. There's always... Yes. And I think that's why 90% of the people around me that I can say I will get my phone and call or go to are men. When I am in the gym,
really?
I'm with men. Most of the time, all the time, okay. Because
do you I'm sorry if I'm interviewing now.
Okay.
Do you find it easier to associate with men?
Because they're not trying to, they're just
compete with you. They're not trying to be better than you.
Taking Sheila, she has come to work out and just in that moment, they're not looking at how I arrived, at what shoe I'm wearing, how I have.
So when a woman looks at you, that's what is going through their mind.
Like women, you think that?
Of course.
Really?
Of course. There's always that. And then moves away from the relationship, from the core of you people being together. And okay, also I'm an introvert, so I struggle a lot with being in groups, but I know the benefit of it, and what I've done is to identify people still struggling where I can heal and let out, and yeah.
So about just a little bit about human relationships is what I don't understand is that actually men would have the weirdest ideas when they see you. Just that you cannot have that between a man and a man. The same way you say, oh, so look at Rusho, oh, he just has a nice suit on, he has a nice watch and everything. I don't think I would, like you're right, in one or another, I don't think I would look at a fellow man like that to say, oh, why is he having a better watch than me? Why is he, having nice shoes or something like that? Or I didn't know that even when a woman looks at you, like they are trying to understand how you arrived at what kind of shoe you picked. That's too deep. But I wanted to understand: is that how all women are?
Not all, but some. Yeah, let me say some.
So therefore,
it's really sad, and that's why most of these groups end up not even. Let me not go far. Look at these girl groups that are put together, Blue 3 and whatever. When they come up, the musicians. When you look at the reasons why they eventually split, well, now they've come back. It's those things. It's a small thing. She said something.
Isn't that different? Because I think that for them, I think that the business made the relationship. Like I don't think they were hanging out, and it's hard enough. Like I even with like say the groups we're in, I think it would be harder for us if we all ran a business together. There's
money,
more areas of contestation. But I think that, so first of all, I'm surprised by the answer because like I tend to see girls groups as very cohesive, interestingly enough. Like they always know each other's like for like Bible said, like, have I met your second son? I don't think I have.
No, you haven't.
I don't think I have.
And you see, that's the thing about guys.
And Canary knows where all my graves are buried.
But you see, that's the thing. That's what I'm telling you about guys, because it's Canary. It's not that I'm going to call him and he won't pick and I will rant. You'll be like, okay, he'll call me back and it won't be an issue.
I mean, I think we fight.
Exactly, but you're not going to take it personal because there's more to it. You're looking at the bigger picture of this relationship.
I think
while we look at those small and end up losing the bigger picture of it.
I think what I've found special about such relationships is that there's a time we'll just come together and say, let's do this. And we'll do it.
Oh, yeah. So, funny story.
We'll do it.
I don't know if there's a time where like, and I don't like putting attention to it because I think most of the gentlemen prefer to live like their lives very private. But there's one specific one that I remember where like we agreed almost like, I think on a Thursday to go and chill together the weekend. And I think we're going to Ginger or something. And we didn't begin figuring out where we were going to sleep until we'd reached the bridge.
Like, we knew we were going to Ginger.
Yeah, the only thing we knew is we were going to Ginger. We didn't know with which cars, right? We just knew all of us were going to Ginger. That's it.
And now let me give you an example. When you got there and you got your accommodation, and was there a fuss about who would sleep where?
No.
Taking?
Let me give you another example. We woke up one day and we said we're going to contribute money to a cause. We did not ask how each other's pockets are doing, but we put a figure to it. We said this cause, we're going to contribute this money, and everyone is going to contribute this kind of amount. I've never understood at what point we agreed that me as me, I most probably earn little than anyone else, that how I should contribute to this kind of figure. But it worked out.
So there's a balance.
There were no dynamics on what, no, it just worked out.
And that's what I'm telling you, Risha. Now, if we had said we are going to Ginger, that's all, the other one's child would be sick, the other one is like, you guys didn't consider me and what, that would be another. But if you get there, now you get the other one the bigger room, mine doesn't have a view of the lake, and then it ends up spoiling the whole moment.
I think women are details. Okay, I don't know, but maybe I'm generalizing, and I really hope I'm not. But I think women are detailed people, so they tend to planned. Like when I've dealt with my friends who are female and we're planning the same thing, bro, like these spreadsheets, and that's how they thrive. So I don't know if that's true of all
That's
women.
what makes them.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true of all, but my lived
So
experience
did you
is
go for your trip anyway?
we did, right? We did, and I don't know that the quality of the enjoyment, because it was the same destination, right?
Yeah.
So I did with these guys, Ginger. Then a couple of years later, I did it with like male friends of mine and female friends of mine in another group. And then, so this was a group we had formed at LDC, I think. And it had been designed in such a way, it was a weird group because we were all struggling with LDC. So we assembled on the assumption that we all party. So like all of us, we are going to help ourselves because we are not bookworms, we are not what. So we are going to help ourselves. So we, of course, finished LDC, remain friends up to now, but planned a trip to Ginger. And this time we had like spreadsheets, budgets, projections, and itinerary, and we didn't do everything, but the trip was not
As fun.
no, it was as much enjoyable with both groups of people, but the fact that it was planned and whatever did not move it up. So I think it's maybe that women are detailed people and men don't plan as much.
Yeah.
Because like
I at some point, kind of joined a group with one of my friends. Said, in this month we're going to go to South Africa. I said, okay, how much money is needed? Like this money, but you see, then they send an actual Excel sheet with how much money I'm supposed to send every month and what it details, like what my mind was so exhausted. I just had to say, you know what, I don't think I'm going to go with this, because just tell me how much, not that I have the money, but I will plan in my head when I'll have it. I don't know.
You don't need a whole book.
Yeah. But I think, but the lesson in here is that it is important to cultivate relationships.
Yeah, I think
It's important to cultivate relationships. All in all,
I'm learning.
whichever relationship it is, whether it's your friends are the instantaneous or the spreadsheet people, there's always a balance to be driven. And I think that once you do it and do it right, that is, and I don't think there's like a template, I think, of like I wasn't I became friends with Canary because we shared a car. Like that's how it started.
yeah, which you killed.
That's how we both killed it. The car was already dead. We just buried it, me and it. So I don't think it's
We shared the common goal, which was we're both broke.
yeah.
And we need to survive on a certain resource. And I think that's what brought us together. We, one of a sudden, like, found each other in the same space, and then we'll say, you're going to share this certain resource. And I don't know if ladies can actually do that.
Yeah.
I think they can. I think they can.
Yeah.
I think they can. I like the times I've seen female friendships, people know each, like, I have people I work with in my office, female people, and they tell me about their friendships. And then they ask me about like my friends, like the ones they know, the Canaries. And almost all my answers are, I don't know. You get like, I don't know things about my friends' lives.
But would you be shocked that if there's any way you could measure how genuine the love is for you and him compared to theirs, sometimes I think you would be shocked that in your not knowing.
I don't know if it helps to measure. Like, life is busy. Like,
yes, and that's why I'm saying that you may not know 80%, but he knows that when he picks up the phone and calls you, you're there.
Sometimes
and
he
that's
doesn't
what
get
matters.
me, but he will, yeah.
Yeah, he'll not get you, send a message, but he knows that you'll be there.
God knows how many times I've been calling this man to just meet him. Like, I have something important to tell you. And I don't think I'll ever get mad to say, I told him I have something important to tell you. Because you don't pick Sheila's call. Sheila will make it a point every day he meets you.
Yeah, but that's because the relationship is different.
No, and communication is key.
So I've come to learn that a lot about friendships. And again, I'm not the best, I don't think I'm the best friend, but a lot about friendships. Someone once wisely said that love is generosity of interpretation. You get like, if I love someone and they've come late at home, one way to look at it is to say they're cheating, right? Another way to look at it is like, they probably lost track of time. And what approach you take depends on how much you tend to love this person. So I try as much as possible.
Can we rewind?
Yeah. I try as much as possible to give my friends the generosity of interpretation. That's why I don't think that for all of my friends, there is anything that they would tell me or that would come out that would shock me. You get like someone will say, you shot someone dead. Like, did the other person have a gun? Like,
like you will not straight away judge.
There's nothing in my head, I think, that makes me think, oh, why would he kill him? You get, so I think that in all friendships, it helps to give generosity of interpretation.
I agree with you, Rusho, but also have average or minimum expectations for my friendships. If you keep falling short of that, I'm happy to let it go. Like, I'm happy to let you and say, you know what, it's okay. And I don't need to inform you. But in my mind, I would have clocked out.
That is very bad, Canary.
It's not bad
Especially
because
if there was a friendship, right?
it's not bad because you've let this person know this is what you expect. Not that you sat together and say, oh, by the way, we're starting a friendship today. These are the things I expect of you.
Sign.
No. Like the way we went to Ginger without planning anything. There's certain things you expect of this other person. And you've been here, and for them, they keep like going below. Like, we don't need to do this. Like, does it need to go on? It's okay. In my mind, I will have clocked out. And in my actions,
sit, and again, communication is key, and have a conversation of, I feel like this has happened so many times.
Sheila, men are not structured like that.
But
Men
you
are
can't
not
just
structured like
switch up.
that.
You don't agree?
Men are not structured like you came to me and told me something. After very many hours of thinking about it, I texted you. I said, hey, I think this is how I feel about this. Blah, 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 blah. It cannot happen same as Rusho. I cannot say, you know what, man, this is... Unfortunately, not many men are structured like that.
Sure?
And it's okay.
I don't know if I agree. I think, I always worry about... So not to say that his point is wrong, but I always worry about generalizing because like people are very varied. Because I know one friend of ours who will send you like a dad. Yeah, like there's a time when I didn't do something and he sent me like the most sobering text message. You get like a dad. It was almost like a dad scolding his kid. Yeah. So I think that, friendships are very difficult to build a format around, but I think that it helps to, I think there's truth in what both of you are saying. One, it helps to, as much as possible, let someone know that they're falling short, but, sometimes you're not going to keep flogging that horse, sometimes you let it go.
Sometimes it's just the basic minimum you expect of them, right? It's the basic minimum.
But also, I think that we should, and I've learned this from my other life that you guys interviewed me about, divorce practice. I've come to learn that everything depends on the angle you're seeing it at, right? Very many times it's he didn't show up, right? Like if all three of us, chose to show up today, right? But with varying degrees of force. Like for all of us, it's not true that to get out of our bed and come here took the same amount of effort, right? For some of us, it might have been easier. For some of us, it must have been harder.
Clearly.
Now, the fact that, you didn't show up depends on so many variables. Sometimes the reason I didn't show up is as important as the factum of not showing up. And very often, I think the starting point when people keep falling short is to try and understand the why. Because there's always a why.
Hence communication.
Yeah, I think...
I'm not sure communication, by the way, is the key.
Okay. You think it's a padlock?
No, at some point we're told education is the key. But what I don't understand is that...
I'd look at you, a computer scientist.
I think that there's a lot of communication without communication.
Yeah.
But, like, you've communicated a lot without communicating anything. Like, Rush and I agreed that we're going to do something. All of a sudden, you show completely no effort of trying to even say, oh, by the way, I can't do this, or I can't go here, or I can't do this. You get? Even after letting you know that, oh, this is what you're supposed to do at this point, blah, 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 we're supposed to do this together, you show completely no remorse. I think that your lack of communication has communicated a lot to me. Meaning, next time we're planning on something, that person is not like this. So, like, when I go to you, I say, oh, Rusho is around. Oh, he honored. That's why for me, every talk show I end with, thank you for honoring my invitation, because you didn't have to be here.
There's also so many people that don't, to her point, I think there's so many people that don't pick social cues. Right?
Yeah.
And I think I'm one of them, because sometimes I don't pick the cue, or sometimes someone is sending a message and you don't get it. So I think there's a creative balance between not overextending, but also sort of communicating effectively.
Making sure that extension.
And in some friendships, I think some of them, the baseline has been established fairly easily so that people know. You get like, if Canary called and said, yeah, Rusho, where are you? Like, let's grab coffee. Or if you call and said, I'm going through something, let me know when we can discuss it. Those two phone calls elicit different responses. But that's because of how I know him. That may not be the same as maybe you or someone else. So I think there's value in that halfway house, so to speak.
Sheila, I want to ask you this. Have you ever heard of a phrase of, if I'm important to you, you can never be busy? You've heard something like that?
Why are you sighing, Rusho?
I want you to answer the question.
Because you see, that completely determines relationships. Like what you just said, if I call you and say, yeah, man, I think we need to talk. Like, but now what has he done? What do I need to defend in court? She gets.
Yeah. I always move with a gown in the car because of Canary. I don't know. And now we're in elections, journalists are going.
Make me feel like the most horrible.
Stand by all the time.
Yeah, but I think all in all, friendships are important to cultivate deliberately.
So I partly believe in it, but again, as a communication expert, it is important to communicate. Because yes, in my head, I feel like this person should not miss my call. Or when they do, they should send a message.
Why? Why do you feel that way?
I'm responding to him where he says that if you're important to me.
I think that's too much entitlement. As much as I know that you should pick my call, you don't have to.
I'm basing on the level of relationship you have with this person. Now, if you miss a call, and I can have my phone and see it and say, call you later. Yeah. Right? Or I can, if I don't have the phone, pick up the phone and call. Yeah.
I'm trying to understand what the problem is.
And then after, say, I missed your call. Because I have expressed to you or whoever that is my level of communication with you. Right? But it cannot be the same with Canary. You understand? So I think it depends on the relationship and the expectations
but
talked about between the two of you.
Why these so I'm assuming you're friends with Canary.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm assuming that between you two, for a healthy relationship, it's important to speak regularly. I'm assuming that's correct, right?
I think
I must regularly or at least keep in touch. Yeah? Keep in touch, right? The keeping in touch is not the phone call. Right? It's what you say on the call, no?
Yeah.
So the phone call is a vehicle.
It's like a political party.
I know.
You lost your...
You're trying to drive me to advertise for Common Man's Party. But fair point. So it is a vehicle to an end, right? And therefore, I don't think that the phone call is as important as the keeping in touch. So I don't understand why someone would... And I can understand why it would frustrate you because of, again, the interpretation. If someone has not answered my phone call, it's not that they have not answered my phone call, is that they have declined an opportunity to keep in touch with me. And those two things are not the same. I could decline your phone call, not because I don't want to talk to you. So sometimes the declining of the phone call or they're not answering is just that.
Yeah.
There's nothing more.
But do you return the call later on?
I mean, it depends. Sometimes people, like, again, generosity of interpretation. Like, if I called Canary and he didn't answer, and I called him twice and he didn't answer, I would not assume that he's not trying to talk to me. He would need to do something overt for me to say, oh, maybe he doesn't want to talk to me. Because
I'm seeing him is texting in the group. He didn't even have the
Courtesy to pick my call.
To just even text back and say, hey,
by the way, yeah. But generosity of interpretation, because I mean, he's easily one of the most hardworking people I know. So maybe there's that.
Really?
He has 2 children to look at. Like, there's so many things. He's in an election season. What?
I'm giving context of, let me give an example of Canary and someone else I know have their phones all the time.
Yeah.
Right? But also I I've had conversations about, at least, you're busy, of course you're working, but return the call whenever you see it, right? Because I wasn't just idle and said, as in I'm not making those calls, honestly. So
I think one thing that we need to eventually cross to or over is communicate the kind of relationship you want to have with this person.
yes.
In what sense?
Sit down with this person, tell them, oh, by the way, I know we've been friends like this, but to be honest,
you have 600 friends. Are you going to?
But you will not have such close friends that are going to make up 600 people. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5.
So I think that. So I'm always worried, not worried, but I'm always suspicious of formulaic approaches, like where relationships are like formulas.
So that's why I said at some point we need to cross over to that point.
Yeah, I think that reciprocity is important, which is the point both of you are making. Reciprocity is extremely important, right? What is it? Like, if you keep pushing a wall, right, you're bound to fall into some degree of frustration. So I agree with you there. But I think that for you to build healthy human relationships, very often you have to
follow nature.
You have to attach creativity of interpretation.
Let me tell you why it's important for you to even communicate what kind of relationship you have to have with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Sheila has come to me a couple of times and said, "Oh, by the way, this happened. You didn't even do this." I'm like, "Wait, I'm supposed to?" In my mind, like, yeah, you're supposed to. Aren't you my friend? I'm like, yeah, but do we have to do this? Why? Because maybe there's even misjudging the kind of relationship you have with someone. Yeah. So next time something happens, I'm like, oh, okay, I need to go an extra point and do this.
But you're assuming that a friendship is like a puzzle, because when you buy a puzzle, it doesn't change, right? You buy it, it will always have the same 5 seats.
I think you're using too much English to understand.
No, I'm saying that even when you have a conversation, right, and say this is what I think the type of friendship we should have, that conversation is in itself evolving. The friendship changes. You may reach a point where you want to have, so you
exactly.
can't.
And at that
I don't know
point,
if you can keep having various conversations.
Yes, you need to,
without things being lost in translation.
And that's why you have people walking into your offices, because that's what I was saying. Those conversations are not being had. They're not being had because people are assuming.
Yeah.
Everyone
in my
is
mind,
assuming.
I think I'm friends with this person in this way.
Yes.
Let me give him an example. I called him and said, Rusho, there's this. He said, count it on me. I'm not going to give you legal advice at a cost. He said, it's okay. Count this as Cairo's milk. I've bought milk for Cairo. It's okay. It's fine. I'll sort it. Why? Because he's not an acquaintance. He's not someone boss, how much?
Yeah.
Next time, if he needs me to moderate a space, and I'll tell him, whatever child you give birth to, count that as milk.
Yeah. But I think that, But
I think we would have done even more together if not formalizing, but communicating the kind of relationship you're going to have with this person.
I think that, I think that I would have a different approach. My thinking is that we need to be very kind to the failings of friendships, especially the failings of expectations, because then that's what allows. So, for example, if Canary said, "Oh, I had Cairo's birthday and you didn't show up," right? That's a legitimate expectation, correct? But there are two ways he would communicate that. Like if he communicated that in a very accusatory, disparaging tone, I think that can make me defensive and distort the relationship. And I think that's some of the problems you find. But I think that
Fair enough.
if he communicated it in such a way that he was letting me know that this was an expectation, I think that then that allows me to update my software without even having to have that formulaic type of friendship.
Update yourself to where the relationship needs to be.
Yeah. So it's, I think, for me, the most important thing I would think of every friendship is generosity of interpretation. That I could interpret this as you not wanting to speak to me. But because you are my friend, I think that it's likely something else. Maybe even negligence on your part. But I will forgive you for it. And because the phone is not there, the phone is just a vessel. So the next time we link, I'll say, "But man, sick phone," and we will go through a conversation that helps me realize that, oh, when you call me, you expect me to call you back, without it having to be formalized. Because my problem with things that have formulas is that those things often tend to become a chore.
We should not formalizing that conversation about the expectations. That's the conversation. That's the communication.
Sheila, allow me not necessarily shift position, but kind of agree with you. Because I think we've agreed on some things need to be communicated. What he's saying is how they are communicated. So I had this person in my life who would first sit me even down across the table and say, even get a paper and a pen and say, "Number one." I'm like, really? Like you're talking about a relationship like this?
Yeah.
It's like, "Number one, I'm frustrated with you because of this and this and this and this." And you know the person across the table, sit. First, create time. 2, create a day, create time. What. And even first switch off the TV. Says, "Number one, you see, this is..." I'm like,
You're switched off already.
Yeah, I'm switched off. Or I go to the meeting with a lot of anxiety because why are we sitting down to discuss? But I think if it's communicated in very subtle terms and tones, I think it can even help more. Yeah.
I think it goes back to understanding the people around us, to understand them enough to know that if I need to communicate to Canary, this is how I do it, based on what the message is.
Or recognizing how Canary communicate. Because you also may have someone who is very formulaic, who prefers to. So it is ultimately to not lose the forest for the trees by saying, okay, regardless of whatever format, because a person can pull you on the sidelines of a birthday and say, like, "I need to chat to you about stuff." And it's often not to lose perspective of the fact that, whatever mechanism they have chosen to communicate, they are only doing this because they care about this relationship. Or this is how they, so.
There's someone who will get mad because you not post them on their birthday.
Of course.
And so there's something that psychologists, there's something psychologists have called sulking, right? Which is an emotional response to perceived neglect. So again, and I'm going into a whole tangent, but like psychologists are telling us that there are 2 types of attachment. We have anxious attachers and avoidant attachers. Anxious attachers are people who, the moment they feel you're not connecting with them, for whatever reason, they get anxious and over impulsive and quarrel. You have not posted me on your status, whatever you get. And we have avoidant attachers who begin to drift away. So I'll ignore him, whatever. So very often those sulks, the explosions, are people's way of saying, "Look, I feel neglected."
Does it help if you communicated that?
First of all, I think people will not always do, because people are not the best at speaking from a position of vulnerability. And sometimes you have to you have to see through the person quarreling, yelling, and throwing things at you.
And be like, "Oh, this is your
and
point."
say, this anger is the vehicle. What is
The message.
the message? Let me deal with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Sheila, of the 2, what are you?
Avoidance.
Ah,
Yeah.
who would have guessed?
Guys, thanks. It's Rusho, many thanks for making time to be here with us.
Of course.
And thanks to the Maze Restaurant and I&M Bank for making this happen. Thank you, Sheila, too, for being here.
And you amazing people behind the scenes.
Of course, production.
Okay. Catch you next time.